We are officially 48 hours away from the most significant financial deadline of our generation. While the world is distracted by New Year's celebrations, a silent alarm is ringing through the corridors of the COMEX in New York. The latest warehouse reports have just confirmed what we feared. The registered category of physical silver has effectively hit a breaking point. We are looking at a system that is mathematically bankrupt. If you don't have physical silver now, the door is closing. To understand the gravity of the situation, you must know the difference between eligible and registered silver. Eligible silver is just metal sitting in a vault owned by someone else. Registered silver is the only metal available for delivery to settle paper contracts. As of this morning, the drain on registered silver has reached 100%. The vaults are not just low, they are operationally empty for anyone trying to settle a futures contract in physical ounces. Why is January 1st the default date? Because on this day, the new international banking standards for 2026 take full effect. These rules demand that banks prove they have 1.1 physical backing for their commodity trades. For decades, JP Morgan and other bullion banks have traded 100 paper ounces for every 1 physical ounce. On January 1st, that leverage becomes illegal. They are trapped in a short position with no physical metal to cover the gap. In the last 72 hours, we have seen an unprecedented surge in delivery notices. Large industrial buyers, particularly from the green energy and AI sectors, are no longer taking cash settlements. They want the bars. They know that a paper dollar can be printed into infinity, but a silver bar takes years to mine and refine. This scramble for physical delivery is what has pushed the registered inventory to the zero bound. JP Morgan, once the king of the silver vaults, is now facing its Minsky moment. Our data suggests they have been quietly leasing silver from the LBMA in London just to keep the lights on in New York. But London is also running dry. When the largest silver holder in the world can no longer find metal to lease, the entire manipulation scheme collapses. They are shorting a ghost market, and the ghost has finally vanished. The AI revolution is a silver-eating monster. Every high-end semiconductor and data center being built for 2026 requires high-purity silver. Unlike gold, which is mostly stored in vaults, silver is consumed by industry. Once it's inside a chip or a solar panel, it's gone. We are witnessing a collision between paper finance and physical reality. The tech giants are now outbidding the banks are losing. Don't ignore what is happening in the East. China has virtually halted all silver exports as they prepare for their own 2026 economic pivot. For years, China was the relief valve for Western silver shortages. With that valve shut, the COMEX is standing alone in a desert. This is a supply-side shock that no amount of Federal Reserve money printing can fix. You cannot print silver into existence. You might see the spot price on your screen and wonder why it hasn't hit $500 yet. That's because the spot price is a paper price, determined by traders who never touch the metal. But try buying a 100 ounce bar today at your local dealer. The premiums are exploding because the physical market has completely decoupled from the paper lie. The screen says $75, but the market says out of stock. When a default happens on an exchange, it doesn't stay there. It spills over into the banking system. If JP Morgan cannot fulfill its silver obligations, it triggers a liquidity crisis. We have seen the emergency withdrawal limits already being tested in some regional U.S. banks. They are keeping the capital inside the system to prevent a run. This is why having your wealth in a portable physical form is your only insurance policy. In 1980, the Hunt brothers tried to corner the silver market and sent prices from $2 to $50. But that was a speculative move. What we are seeing in late 2025 is an industrial cornering. There are more buyers who need the silver for their factories than there is silver being mined. This is not a bubble. It is a structural deficit that has been building for 5 years. The explosion will be permanent. What happens when the exchange officially hits zero? They will declare force majeure. This is a legal term that allows the exchange to cancel contracts and settle them in cash. But here's the catch. They will settle at the old price, while the physical metal in the black market will be trading at 5 times that value. If you hold paper silver, ETFs, you are holding a ticket to a cash settlement you don't want. By January 2026, global solar capacity is expected to double. Silver is the primary conductor in every cell. There is no cheaper or more efficient substitute. The green energy mandates from the US government are inadvertently causing the very silver squeeze that will bankrupt the banks. It is a massive irony of the green agenda. They want the panels, but they are destroying the currency used to buy them. We are currently in Ghost Week, the period between Christmas and New Year when liquidity is at its lowest. This is when the most violent market moves happen. If a major entity demands 10 million ounces today, the COMEX cannot provide it. We are seeing off-exchange trades happening at massive premiums just to keep the default out of the headlines, but you can only hide a shortage this big for so long. On January 1st, the BRICS nations are set to unveil more details about their commodity-backed settlement system. They are moving away from the debt-based dollar and towards value-based assets. By accumulating massive amounts of gold and silver, they are effectively draining the West's leverage. The COMEX is being emptied not just by industry, but by sovereign nations who no longer trust the US dollar. Visit any major online bullion dealer today and look at the shipping delay notices. We are seeing 4 to 6 week waits for basic silver bars. The mints cannot keep up with the demand. This is the retail supply cliff. When the general public realizes that the COMEX is empty, the panic buying will turn into a stampede. At that point, the price of silver will be unobtainium. It won't matter what the price is if you can't buy it. Your local bank manager isn't going to tell you about the COMEX default. Their job is to keep you calm and keep your deposits in the vault. But look at the Bank Term Funding Program, BTFP numbers. The banking system is on life support. They need your deposits to stay in the system to cover their losing bets in the silver and bond markets. Taking your wealth into physical silver is an act of financial secession. We are witnessing the largest wealth transfer in history. It is moving from those who hold promises to pay, dollars, bonds, paper stocks, to those who hold assets that cannot be printed, silver, gold. On January 1st, the ledger resets. Those with physical metal will find their purchasing power has multiplied overnight, while those with digital digits will find their access restricted and their value devalued. This isn't just a trade, it's a protection strategy for your family. Silver has been a store of value for 5,000 years. It has survived every empire, every war, and every currency collapse. In an era of programmable digital currency, physical silver is the ultimate form of freedom. It is anonymous, it is private, and it is yours. Don't wait for the emergency alert on your phone to take action. As the clock ticks down to midnight on December 31st, ask yourself, how much of my wealth is dependent on a bank's promise? How much of it is physical? Verify your holdings, ensure you have physical possession or allocated storage with proof of audit. The time for paper promises is over. The era of physical reality begins in less than 48 hours. The vaults are empty and the default is here. The data is official. The registered silver is gone. The January 1st deadline is unavoidable. Whether you're a seasoned stacker or a new investor, the message is clear. The COMEX has failed. Protect yourself, secure your ounces, and stay tuned as we track every second of the 2026 Great Silver Reset. The game is over for the manipulators. Make sure it's not over for you.